not actually sure what day this video will be published, so welcome to whatever day it is while you're watching this. I have to once again apologize for my absence. This whole baby building thing is exhausting, and sometimes, even when I have a lot to say, I just cannot bring myself to sit at the computer on my days off. Thank you for hanging in there with me, and hopefully this second trimester brings me more energy. Anyway, on to the video stuff. If you like this video, please literally hit that like button and consider subscribing. I'm no longer making any promises about my upload schedule, but I promise I'm doing my best. So this week, rapper Cardi B won her defamation case against YouTuber Tasha K. This is being considered a landmark case because, for starters, any victorious defamation suit is pretty important. And, up to now, YouTubers have mostly fought amongst themselves. For a world-famous rapper to not only accuse a YouTuber of defamation, but then successfully sue them is new, and hopefully will lead to better regulation among what are known as, quote, these YouTube streets. Now, this topic is important because, as most of you know, there is a thriving Sussex, but mostly Meghan Markle, hate community here on YouTube, with Bot Sentinel releasing a report that alleges these channels have made millions of dollars collectively as single-purpose hate channels, with numerous accusations towards Meghan that, at least in my opinion, would probably pass the defamation test. We have been calling on YouTube and other social media platforms to enforce their own rules when it comes to single-purpose hate accounts who often spew false information as fact. Cardi B being successful in her defamation suit hopefully brings us one step closer. I need to give my usual disclaimer that I am not a lawyer. I have put the articles I use to better inform myself about the defamation process in the description of this video. All of this is based on the United States legal system. And as always, I strive to make it clear what is fact versus what is my opinion. So, what is the difference between defamation, slander, and libel? Defamation is the umbrella term, and according to Wikipedia, means the oral or written communication of a false statement about another that unjustly harms their reputation and usually constitutes a crime or tort. Slander is spoken defamation. Libel is defamation in written or picture form. In order to prove a defamation case, the plaintiff, in this case Cardi B, has to prove that it was firstly a false statement, it was presented as fact, it was made about the plaintiff, published to a third party, and caused damage. Now, damages can be further separated into general damages, which are damages for the loss of reputation, shame, hurt feelings. Special damages, which are the specific damage in respect to property, business, occupation, including the amount of money the plaintiff has spent in court defending against the alleged defamation. Then there are exemplary damages, which are rewarded at the discretion of the court in addition to general or special damages for the sake of example, and can be used specifically to punish a defendant, in this case Tasha K, who has shown actual malice. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I do believe Cardi B won all three types of damages against Tasha K. Now, of course, this all gets confusing because literally in the same article, they will refer to this case as both a libel and slander situation, but for the sake of clarity, I'm just going to use the umbrella term defamation. It is also important to note that historically, defamation cases are hard to prove. The burden of proof lies on the plaintiff. These cases are almost always civil, so they are expensive. You have to prove the defendant was knowingly lying when they made the false statements. Especially, I guess really only in the United States, defamation always runs up against the First Amendment, which, while does not protect defamation, it's one of the most vigorously defended and protected amendments, meaning there can be some ethical implications of defamatory statements. Now, I've never watched a Tasha K video. I know from articles about the suit that she has a presence on both YouTube and Twitter, with over 300,000 subs on Twitter and over 1 million subs on YouTube. From screenshots and her username, it appears that her videos are of her drinking wine and talking. She has apparently been dubbed, quote, the Queen of Real Talk. Now, am I just upset that she can drink wine and I can't? Probably. Back in 2018-2019, Tasha K posted a lot of videos about Cardi B, which I might add exploded her popularity. Specifically in some of these videos, Tasha claimed that Cardi had herpes, used cocaine, cheated on her husband, and had worked as a prostitute. These would be the claims the defamation suit focused on. Now, these videos amassed millions of monetized views. And again, we have to talk about that YouTube dichotomy. Most media outlets that amass those numbers have some kind of gatekeepers. YouTube is the Wild West in comparison, with the platform supposedly having rules, but those rules are applied in wildly different fashions. After Tasha refused to remove the videos, Cardi B filed suit in 2019 for slander and invasion of privacy. Now, this is full offense to Tasha, but she did some really stupid shit, which honestly made this case much easier for Cardi and her lawyers. We have to go back to the 5 aspects of defamation. Cardi was able to prove that the specific allegations against her were false, which is strike 1. Tasha was out here saying shit that wasn't true. In the videos, Tasha K presents these allegations as facts, going so far as to refer to herself as a journalist. In court, Tasha would admit that some of her content is fake, and she knew some of the, quote, rumors she helped circulate were untrue, which is strike 2. And many would argue the biggest hurdle for Cardi, proving that Tasha knew she was lying when she lied. Now, the 3rd and 4th strikes were easy. Tasha called Cardi out by name and published these videos to YouTube. The 5th and final strike against Tasha was relatively easy for Cardi to prove. She had multiple witnesses speak about her emotional state at the time, which had devolved into feeling suicidal. These witnesses attested to the impact these claims had on Cardi's marriage and relationships. There were times where reports on the case referred to Tasha K as unprepared and faltering in her statements. What she would try to present as proof of her claims did not hold up in court. She would admit that her primary objective is entertainment and to increase traffic to her videos. According to NBC News, Tasha on the stand would brag about the defamation case trending. This case and Tasha K's flailing attempts at defending herself should serve at the very least as a warning to other YouTube channels, especially those who rely on spreading hate for views. Up until now, YouTube had very few threats, especially from the outside. This defamation win changes that. Tasha K herself will have to pay a majority of the damages, which are now greater than $4 million. Today, Cardi B tweeted that she should chat with Meghan Markle after Twitter pointed out that Meghan has her own hate corner on YouTube. I would like to point out that this hate corner is shrinking. Their views are shrinking. Meghan Markle hate doesn't pay quite as well as it used to. But some of the bigger hate accounts still have made hundreds of thousands of dollars individually. And that is the conundrum. Hate sells. Hate brings in views in ways that, healthy criticism absolutely does not. I would also like to take a moment to point out that hate channels never think they're hate channels. Just today, an account, which in my opinion is a hate channel, according to Taz, was just tweeting that, what she does to Meghan is nothing like what Tasha K did to Cardi B. I hate to break it to you, Taz, it's exactly the same thing. What Cardi B's victory says to hate channels is that, yes, hate is lucrative, but it can also be costly, to the tune of $4 million costly. Like Meghan Markle with her victory over the Mail on Sunday, Cardi B was making a point. One that very few can afford, but will hopefully open the door just a crack for the rest of us. I'd also like to say that Cardi B should never have had to sue. Meghan Markle shouldn't have to sue to get this to stop. YouTube as a platform should be intervening here against single-purpose hate channels, especially those who spew defamatory and inflammatory statements regularly. All social media platforms have the ability to weed bots, trolls, hate accounts out of their platforms. They choose not to for the same reasons individual creators lie: engagement, which computes into money for both the creator and the platform. If a successful multi-million-dollar lawsuit scares some sense into both creators and platforms, we will all be better for it.